Hello, third grade families. Welcome to our back to school night presentation for Truesdale Elementary School. This is the third grade team.
In tonight's presentation, we're going to start with communication, then move on to student expectations and family recommendations for learning. We'll talk about our schedule as well as attendance, learning news and updates for all the content areas, and then finish off with resources for families.
These are the members of the third grade team. We have Miss Scott and Miss Bakken, who are the guided reading and foundations teachers, Miss Schrader, Miss Kim, and Miss Parker, who are the complex text and writing teachers, and Mr. Kreider and Miss Kilburn, who teach math.
If you haven't done so already, please sign up for Remind. The links for your home teachers directly are below. Remind allows us teachers to all 6 of us to see communication from families. In addition, it allows us to send our newsletters and any updates throughout this moving year to you directly. The best way to view Remind is on the app or on email, but you can also have text messages sent to your phone, and it will allow you to see the attachments online.
Here are some student expectations for our third graders. We want all of our students to attend all synchronous, which is live instruction, and be on time for those classes. We need our students to turn on their cameras for class so we can verify attendance and count participation. We also recommend that our students have virtual backgrounds in place to minimize distractions. We need our students to keep their eyes on the screen and sit up straight for class, not have anything around them to distract them from their learning. Have materials accessible, so our students should have paper, pencil, their whiteboard, dry erase marker, charger, and anything else their teachers have requested right nearby to grab when they need it. Use break times to eat snacks and go to the bathroom, stretch. So our students shouldn't have to do that during live instruction. And use the chat box appropriately. This has been something that our teachers have given reminders about. So we just want to ensure that our students are using the chat box on Teams when their teachers ask them questions, and to do so.
We also have some recommendations for our families. We recommend that you limit the background noise for optimal student learning. That can include reducing the sounds around you, like speaking and the television. Create a designated home workspace station or space for your child. Have them go to the same space every day to help them be focused on their learning. We're also asking that students wear Truesdale uniform to class every day. So this is a new expectation. So we're going to be looking to make sure that all students are wearing their Truesdale uniform. Please make sure that you update your contact information with the registrar, and you can also please let us know so that we are able to contact you. And you may contact teachers by text during live instruction time, but please request meetings with teachers between 2:30 and 3 p.m.
Our schedule can be found on Canvas, but every day we start with live instruction with teachers. Asynchronous learning takes place in the afternoon, which is student independent work time. Their work can be found on Canvas and on Clever. There's also small group time in the afternoons. On Wednesdays, our learning looks a little bit different, with asynchronous learning for the majority of the day and some small group meetings. All of the schedules can be found on Canvas.
Okay, guided reading news. So Ms. Scott and I have developed a schedule for small group guided reading times which can be found on Canvas. So we have placed your child in a small guided reading group and have given them an animal name, which is their group. The schedule is on Canvas daily next to their guided reading. If you click on the link, you will be able to see their schedule and their meeting time with their teacher. The expectation is that students join the small group every day at the correct time. And another update is the reading inventory, the RI test should be completed at this time. If you need assistance or additional support, please reach out to us to help you have your child complete that assessment.
Hi there. So this is complex text and writing news. It is super important that your child comes to class every day and that they are on time. We are going over grade level skills during class. We're doing reading some days, writing other days, and so it's super important for them to be in every single live session in addition to their small groups. So in complex text, we read a book, we break it down in its meetings and class, and then we have for 2 days a week, and then for the other 2 days a week, we're working on different writing skills, and we write about what we read in class. So if they miss out on the reading, then they're not going to understand their writing. So it's super important, again, for kids to be in class every single day and paying attention. Each of your children have been assigned to a small writing group, and they will work with teachers in small group sessions in about a 3 to 5 size group. And there we will work with kids on their skills of writing and being able to look at their boards individually in that small group. So again, it is super important for you to check out on Canvas the time that your child has a small group. We have notified the children. In addition to that, our groups are called different states. So you can see that online on their Canvas page, and you can also reach out to us if there's any confusion there. Please check on the newsletters sent on Remind on every Tuesday for any updates on our content. We're updating it weekly so that you know, like, hey, this week we're reading about democracy. Next week we're reading about Roberto Clemente. And so by reading those newsletters, you can help engage in conversations with your child about the content that they're addressing in class. In addition to that, your child's writing assignments will be posted and graded on Canvas. There's stuff up right now under the modules for each of your child's independent work time. And so it's very important that they don't stop learning after lunch, that they continue learning up until 2:35 each day and working on their individual assignments if they're not in a live group session.
For math, it's super important that all students are coming on time with their materials and ready to engage. We will be doing a lot of practice with the concepts that we're learning about. So it's important that students have their whiteboards or their paper and pencil in front of them. To best prepare for a math class, students should be practicing their multiplication facts every day with flashcards or fluency sheets, and we will be distributing fluency books soon through the school store. We will begin small groups this week, so it's super important that your student has completed their iReady test through Clever. All students have been given the instructions on how to access that test, and be sure to check Canvas for the schedule when we post it. Canvas also has our weekly math modules that are updated every week with the lessons that we're covering, our objectives, videos that supplement our lesson, and any other resources students may need for their independent learning time. Students should also continue to complete a Zearn lesson every day. They help us prepare for our live lessons, and they can be found on Clever. Attendance is super important with our online learning. So if your child is going to be absent for any appointment, family emergency, anything like that, you need to email Truesdale's registrar, which we will be sending that email out through Remind. They will put that as an excused absence on your child's record. Every day, school begins at 8:30 and ends at 2:35, and it's expected that every student is there for the entire duration of the day. So students must log on every day at 8:30 through Canvas. It's super important that they're logging in through Canvas because that's what logs their attendance for the day automatically. Small group instruction is required in the afternoon, and students will be receiving their schedule about what small groups that they will be attending and with what teacher. Even though there's no live group whole class instruction on Wednesdays, attendance still counts, so students still need to be logging into Canvas and doing their asynchronous work. Specials classes also take attendance, so students need to be sure that they're on time and attending specials class every day from 1:50 to 2:35. And even when students are not in a synchronous live session, they still should be doing their work at their learning space in their home on their computer.
Assessments. So Ms. Kilburn has already touched point on our math assessment, which is iReady. For reading, your child is taking their beginning of the year assessment, which is called Reading Inventory, RI. Those two tests can be found on Clever. It's super important that your child takes those tests by themselves in a quiet space as much as possible, so that they are really showing us as teachers what we need to do to make sure that your student is ready for that end of year assessment PARCC that really counts. And so these beginning of the year assessments, middle of the year assessments really help guide the teacher instruction to help make individualized plans for your child. And so it's super important for them to show us what they know so that we can adjust our teaching to best fit your child's needs. Your children will also take ANET. This is coming up in October. This is a test that is taken by the district, and it is something that looks very similar to the end of year assessment, which is PARCC. This ANET assessment really tells teachers, again, how can we prepare your child for the PARCC assessment and where are their benchmark skills that we can help work them on throughout the school year. And so we will be working up to prepare for this ANET assessment in October. And we are asking parents to please create a learning environment as much as possible conducive to taking assessment. Make sure that your child is woke up on time, they went to bed early, they ate breakfast. All of those things that we know can really help guide an assessment are super important for this ANET test, and that will in turn show us that end of year PARCC assessment. So as third graders, your children will take the PARCC assessment for the first time. Then they will take it again in fourth, fifth grade, and it will continue on through their grade schooling as they get older. And the PARCC assessment helps show schools for different programs that they want to get into as they get older. They can have access to those with their PARCC scores. And it is a college readiness test. And it is the test that the district takes. So you'll hear us talk about PARCC all year round as we get your children ready to accomplish that. You want to see your child score a 4 or 5 on the PARCC assessment. So resources for families. During the virtual learning experience, we will have a school store available at Truesdale Education Campus. The school store will contain different things and materials that your children may need. For example, Ms. Kilburn touched base on their Eureka Fluency books. You can visit Truesdale, go to the school store, and they will provide you with those things that you can't go to Walmart and purchase or CVS, and those tools that are more content focused. Some teachers have done some projects on getting some grant money towards providing some additional headphones, additional notebooks, and things like that. And when those are available, we will also send that stuff out on Remind when we get those fully funded. So anything that you need for resources will be stored in the school store. It is free to students and families. And we will be keeping track of who's picking up their materials just to make sure that you guys get them. And so please stay tuned to that via Remind as we share out more information in the coming weeks. Your Truesdale technology person is listed below on the screen. But please try the student help desk first with the district to provide any support beyond what Mr. Amari can do. He's an awesome help, but he is one man. So we are trying to do everything possible before we send people to Mr. Amari, but feel free to touch base if you need support. School uniforms administration has touched point on having some of those shirts available, as far as like where you can go to get the purple shirts, the white shirts, or the black uniform shirts. Just making sure that your child is fully dressed. There's been some cases where we aren't fully dressed, and having to remind students that you are on a video screen and that we can see you. So please make sure while you are working towards getting your child those uniforms, that your child is wearing both pants and a top and bottoms of their appropriate choice. And just be mindful that anything in the background that that many children can see. So if you're available to put your child against the wall where they're facing a wall, so that their back is to the wall and that's their background, that'd be super helpful. Again, we're thinking about uniforms and people making sure that they have clothing on both the children in the screen and anyone in the background.
We wanted to introduce our third grade social worker, Miss Cherry. Her contact information is listed on this slide, and you can read more information about her here.
And lastly, we want to introduce Mr. Santiago, who is our school counselor for second and third grade. His contact information is also on the screen, and you can read more information about him as well.
So we just wanted to thank you as a third grade team for attending our virtual back to school night. We appreciate all the feedback from parents and all the patience as we work through things. Please continue to be very open with communication as we are here to help and try to figure out these things together and be a supportive learning community. So please make sure that you're on Remind and you're seeing those updates. We look forward to engaging you in the content that your children are learning and working with you throughout this school year. Have a good evening.